Jermell Charlo said this. Roll the clip.
Jermell Charlo said, man, I've always wanted to get in the ring with this dude and put some hands on him. Who's that one guy out there that we haven't been talking about that we'd be surprised about? You say, I've always wanted to fight this cat.
Terence Crawford.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I'll fight him.
Jermell Charlo said, man, I've always wanted to get in the ring with this dude and put some hands on him. Who's that one guy out there that we haven't been talking about that we'd be surprised about? You say, I've always wanted to fight this cat.
Terence Crawford.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, I'll fight him.
Wow. Jermell Charlo said he will fight Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford responded. Stay tuned to this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Come in, smash the like button. You heard Jermell Charlo. He did an interview with Brian Custer, link in the description, and he says one surprising person that he'd be down to fight is none other than Terence Bud Crawford. He said he would even make his way back down in weight, which he hasn't fought since the Julian J. Rock Williams fight, to 154. Terence Crawford's seen it, and you won't believe what Terence Crawford had to say. Wow, Terence Crawford responded, and he put crying emoji. Future of boxing, which is Jermell Charlo. So Big Charlo, make sure you gotta remember that. It says, Jermell Charlo, you coming down to fight me at 154 pounds? More crying emojis. Bro, I know you would. I believe you too. But your brother is still a PUSSY. So he said your brother is still a cat. And then he put the wink emoji. Wow. This is from at 8:10 p.m. on his verified page, Terence Crawford. So Terence Crawford wasted no time responding. And he says, you know, basically, I believe you. I believe you would fight me. But as far as your brother, he still can get it, and he's still a PUSSY. Interesting stuff from Terence Crawford, which I want to talk about in this video. Wow. So this all stems from Brian Custer dropped an interview today, and apparently Terence Crawford's seen it. I showed you his response, and I showed you a snippet. So Brian Custer was basically, asking questions to Jermell Charlo, caught up with him, and was saying, yo, there's somebody that the world may not know that you want to fight. Name who that person is.
Give me the one guy that we haven't been talking about that Jermell Charlo said, man, I've always wanted to get in the ring.
So this is a setup, and this is the question.
With this dude and put some hands on him. Who's that one guy out there?
Who's that one guy out there?
We haven't been talking about that we'd be surprised about. You say, I've always wanted to fight this cat.
So right here, you see Charlo instantly looking, and I'll put the link in the description. Make sure you guys subscribe to Brian Custer. Charlo's thinking about it for a split second, like real quick.
Terence Crawford.
And he said Terence Crawford straight like that. Wow. And then Brian Custer, he sounded like almost surprised by it. Watch. See? You see his face? He said Terence Crawford. Hold on.
Terence Crawford.
Look, he said,
Yeah.
Cause he's like, man, I got a soundbite on my show. Look how happy he is. He said, He wasn't expecting Terence Crawford. And he had Terence Crawford on his show before. Look. He's like, man, I got a soundbite for your Look, he was, when you got your own show or your own podcast, you be happy when you get something that you think is a gold mine.
Oh, how about that?
See?
I'll fight him. I'll fight you, Terence.
I'll fight you, Terence.
Yeah. I'll come back down to 54 and fight Terence Crawford.
See? He said, I'll come back to 54 and fight Terence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. So I don't know where this came from. Maybe the back and forth banter between Terence Crawford and his brother, Jermell Charlo. Maybe he just wants a big name. You got to ask Big Charlo. But for me, this was kind of out of nowhere, out of left field. And, I don't know the logistics. I don't know Jermell Charlo's body. I've stood next to him and stuff like that. He's a big dude. So I don't know how easy he could make 154. but he just put it on wax. And again, the link is in the description, so you guys can take a listen to that. And I want to know what you guys think about that. So me personally, I don't even really know how to feel about it. Like, my thing is this. I think we're in the social media age of boxing, and we've seen an evolution, a steady progression and evolution. So it's like, just society in general, people have attention spans that are this big. You know what I mean? It's like people will clamor for one fight, and seconds later they'll be distracted because two other people, had an exchange of words on Twitter. And, I guess that's just the times we're in. But me, I don't think like that. I think for starters, I think it's a bit weird that Crawford said what he said, because the whole world wants to see Terence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. So to me, that should be the next order of business. They're both at the same division, 147. They both have titles, or a title for Terence Crawford. He got one WBO belt. Errol Spence has 3. He has the rest of the belts at 47. So I don't like to look too far ahead. And when there's unfinished business right where you're at, it's hard for me to, of course, if Jermall Charlo or Jermell Charlo and Terence Crawford fought, I ain't no liar. So I would, of course, watch it. But I'm not a big fan of people jumping up in crazy weight divisions when they have unfinished business. And I think that is the case with Errol Spence. Like, Terence Crawford hasn't even got past one Texas boy at his weight class, which is Errol Spence. So I don't want to overly press Terence Crawford versus Jermell Charlo at 54, or Big Charlo moving back down and losing more weight, to a division he hasn't fought in a minute, just because of his call out. But I know how the game works. Some people are going to be like, F that, bump that. He called him out. I want to see it. But I tend to be more, realistic and the voice of reason within boxing. Again, not to say that I wouldn't watch a Jermall Charlo or Jermell Charlo fight in Crawford, because clearly I would. I follow all these guys' careers, including Errol Spence, since they've been on the scene, and maybe even before that. For a lot of people, I knew about a lot of these fighters beforehand. But, that's just where I'm at with it. You guys, let me know what you guys think of Big Charlo saying he can. It's just unexpected, and it's weird because we're getting all this conversation, and it seemed like the closer we got to Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, the more talk I heard about other fights. And I thought, people throwing in, oh, Errol should fight Jaron Ennis, or Crawford needs to fight Jermell, and now Jermall Charlo. And I thought the whole goal was to see the fight with Crawford and Spence for Undisputed. But again, people's attention span have been pulled and diverted to something else. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about it. I'm just reporting the news. I like all the guys that are being talked about. But the one thing I will say about Bud's response, because in all fairness, I listen to what people say. I'm fully present and cognizant of what's being said. The thing that Bud Crawford said in his reply didn't really make sense to me, because you guys see it on the screen. He says crying emoji. So Future of Boxing, Big Charlo called him out, said, I'll come see you at 54. And he basically co-signed and said, hey, I could picture you coming to 54 to fight me. I know, like, basically he's saying you about that life, so I could picture it. And then he used it to take a shot at the other Jermell Charlo, who didn't do the interview with Brian Custer recently. He did call him out in a past Brian Custer, but that's like months old, before Errol Spence and Ugas. So to me, it's weird that the Charlo, the twin that called Crawford out, was Big Charlo, and he said, you coming down to fight me at 54? Crying emoji. And that's all he said to him. But then he used the rest of the Twitter characters to go in and talk about Jermell and call him a name. Furthermore, the other thing that doesn't make sense is Jermell Charlo just became undisputed at 154, and you're doubting basically his cojones and willingness to fight you. That doesn't really make sense, because most people have given Jermell Charlo full credit because he's in a pack stack division, and he's been able to become undisputed and fight the best names that are in the division, the Tony Harrisons, and fight the Jason Rosario when he beat J-Rock, and then recently Brian Castano, and before that Brian Castano, and knock out Brian Castano. So everybody's giving Jermell, 54 Jermell, all the props in the world for being undisputed and having the resume, whereas Big Charlo, no offense to him, but he hasn't been able to get the Canelos, and then Canelo moved up, or the no guys on Triple G, you know, he's not been able to get that. The Andre fight hasn't happened. So it's like, if you're insulting one of the Charlos and saying that, hey, I believe you would be down to fight me, how can you, you know, take a shot at Jermell, who just became undisputed, to make it look like he wouldn't be down to fight you? But Big Charlo would. You know, I don't really understand that, seeing how Jermell Charlo hasn't ducked or dodged anyone and became undisputed, something Crawford had. But that's my 2 cents. Let me know how I did in this video. Subscribe and drop your thoughts. And I'm out. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxing Ego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We work.